When the British nope. When the British Empire cracks down on piracy, only a dancing pirate and his monkey can unite the clans and rewrite history. What if Master and Commander was a buddy comedy? What if the Royal Navy lost to a man and his monkey? And what if history as we know it never happened?
From the same two geniuses who brought you Let It Morph and Back Alley Kitty comes an absurdly epic tale of piracy, friendship, and accidental world domination. Oh, and dancing too. That's right, Boots and Buckles from Fieldwork Brewing is your listener's choice feature film, and we couldn't be more proud/concerned. And if you're wondering, yes, Harrison is still being hunted by bill-collecting apes from last week.
No one ever really escapes those primates, John. But today, we turn our attention to a simpler time, the golden age of piracy and very questionable historical facts. Tune in next week for another Fast Five, but for now, grab your spyglass, hold on to your rum, and kiss your peg leg goodbye.
This is Boots and Buckles. So quick recap before we get into the film. Boots and Buckles was inspired by Fieldwork Brewing, as we just discussed in the cold open.
Yes.
Checked in by our friend Lee. And Harrison, do you remember? I know it's a pirate film, and I know you're really excited to put a monkey in there. How did we land on Boots and Buckles?
I know. Well, you guys made us land here, but we had, even in the Fast Five, if you guys recall, it started out as almost a square dance movie. We fumbled around in the dark for a bit to land, as we do most of the time here.
Like a prom night.
That's exactly right. Was that my ankle or your ankle? Who cares?
Threesome!
I'll get there eventually. So, and landed on kind of, I think it was in the vein of like a buddy cop movie, but a buddy pirate movie. And then in my mind, I was like, two pirates, and you had the genius idea of like, what if
Actually,
one is...
I think I just asked, are they both human?
You did. Yeah. And then there was no turning back. But then you made Buckles a monkey. So that's what we're getting right now. It's not even a buddy cop or a buddy pirate movie, but I guess like more like a Turner and Hooch, if you remember, with Tom Hanks and his dog Hooch as the cop and the cop dog team. We're Turner and Hooching the seven seas, the high seas during pirate times.
Turner and who was it? Covey Faye? Who was the gorilla?
Yeah. No, that was, oh boy.
Harambe.
Yes.
Harambe. Turner and Harambe.
That's it, but a small Harambe.
I remember asking if it was a capuchin, because that's one of the coolest monkey names that I know.
Exactly.
But did we ever decide on what type of monkey?
I mean, I think it's a capuchin monkey in my brain. I don't.
Okay. Hell yeah.
So.
I know they're smart.
Yeah, right.
And tiny,
and kind of the pirate monkey, right? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Is the capuchin the one that's in like every pirate movie?
I think I'm going to say yes.
Sure, it's
small enough to sit on your shoulder,
correct,
but more handy than a what do they use? Parrots?
Right. Yeah. Parrot is just going to give away your position by repeating, whatever swear word you said last at the wrong time. A capuchin monkey, in our minds, smarter, and certainly Buckles is. So Boots is the human pirate, Buckles is the monkey pirate.
Yes. Equal status.
It certainly did this time. It really didn't matter about who you were, who your parents were, or what your job was. It was, are you quick enough to pickpocket people? Do you know how to tie a main sheet? Can you drink someone else under the table? Then you're good in my book. Monkey or human or
Buckles
parrot
outdrank quite a bit of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge liver. They're mostly liver, those monkeys. So I hear. Amazing processing power for such a small creature. Oh my God. So yeah, we're going to explore all this stuff tonight. And I think also worth noting, just to set the stage, set the setting a bit. A couple things. I feel like in my mind I bounced around a little bit like, ooh, is this going to be the origin story of how Boots and Buckles meets? And we're probably not going to do that tonight. But that's not to say it won't happen, but I feel like we should just jump right into the adventure that is Boots and Buckles. We didn't really talk about in the Fast Five that how this is how they meet or whatever. So
I like that though.
Yeah.
Like Boots and Buckles are a thing in this world.
Correct.
And we're just coming
Yeah.
into their life with a camera at the
Yes.
at the right time.
at the right time, exactly, at an important time, a crossroads for piracy across the world. And I learned this recently. I believe, like, as much as pirates are talked about, it was really only like 80 years that they existed in the way that we imagine them. There was a huge treaty that essentially ended them all in like the 1780s or something, that actually worked. But they were around from like the early 1700s until then. And a lot of them crashed on turns out steering a huge ship hammered on rum all the time, it can end poorly. Most of them died just running into huge rocks they didn't see in the middle of the ocean.
Few allies,
Right.
one man that thinks he knows the answers to everything, also drunk.
He's hammered, flying confidently into a storm in the night. And most of them were never seen again. But I think what the coolest part, I think, about your idea and your part of the idea for the Fast Five is that not only is Boots and Buckles pirates, they're going to kind of change the world as we know it. This is like a butterfly effect moment that we're going to play around with tonight, where we're going to see what kind of trouble Boots and Buckles can get into to maybe rewrite history, which is a tough thing to do. Something we all wish we probably have the power to do, to find that ankle on prom night, the right ankle. But what happened, although the Beer That Movie universe is nothing but full of second chances. So we're gonna take a big one tonight and see what we can do with some pirates back in the 1700s who maybe bit off a little more than they can chew, but chewed it anyway.
1700, so pre-television, pre-iPhone.
Yes, wait, everything.
Just some of the things I usually throw into a random movie.
Right, no, we're gonna be careful.
I have to remember
This
now.
is very
He reaches
pre-internet.
into his pocket and pulls out a.
Piece of paper, but he can't write, so it's useless, and he throws it on the ground.
There's runes on it, but he doesn't know how to interpret them. Great. A compass is the pinnacle of
There we go.
technology.
Absolutely. It is. Yeah, we won't have some of the things we usually fall back on, but that's okay. We've been here before with, what was it, Rally Point. Not quite as far back, but far back
True.
enough. But yeah, we'll try to keep each other honest and not let any iPhones slip into
Compass
this one.
pops up. You need to pay your monthly subscription, or I will only point north,
Right.
no matter where you're going.
A time before subscriptions. Truly a simpler time. When freedom really meant you were free. Certainly as a pirate, certainly on the seas, and certainly if you had a monkey on your back. The only thing you had to worry about is if he was pooping on your shoulder. And that's a small, literally, thing to stress out about. So Boots and Buckles have it good. And yeah, we're going to kind of meet them, I think, kind of in there. Probably some fun kind of shanty pirate town, I'm imagining, getting into trouble somewhere in some back alley or some watering hole, and launch this adventure and again see what the heck happens. See if we can change the world, John.
At least the Beer Me That Movie world.
Right.
But we've already said too much.
We have said a lot.
So let's get into it. Let's roll the tape. Let's sit in the director's chair. Let's do the little clapper thing.
That's it.
And get into Act 1.
Moving on to Act 1.
Okay, we're going to try something a little different on this feature film,
Okay.
Harrison.
Got it.
I'm going to basically hand you the ship's steering wheel, which is we all know is called a mast.
Well, that's the thing with the sail on
Should have
it.
done more research.
This is gonna be fun. We're gonna reinvent a lot of history, including how boats work tonight. So if you have any notes, shove them where the sun don't shine.
Okay, so Harrison, let's start at the beginning then, or at the protagonist.
Sure.
Who is Boots, and why does he have jazz hands?
Yes, so this is also a hugely important point of this. So Boots is a pirate, a pirate's pirate. You can imagine Jack Sparrow, because I can't prevent you from doing that, and that's probably good and close enough, we'll refine him and turn him into Boots in your mind as we go through this tonight. And one of the big, so he's kind of like many pirates, not a lot of friends, plenty of enemies, always on the run, looking for the next adventure, kind of living, gold coin to gold coin. I think it should be kind of noted in my mind, like pirates are a lot like kind of the gold diggers, where like in your head you're like everyone's looking for gold, but like 99% of them are just in a creek digging at rocks and they find nothing and go broke and die of dysentery in a bush somewhere. So like I don't think Boots should be some glamorous pirate. He's had his highs, he's had his lows, he's a good sailor, all that stuff. But this is not Blackbeard or not some Edward Teach, not some legend in the pirate world. A pirate, he has his own ship. He has Buckles, his monkey, but most importantly, Boots, as we talked about in the Fast Five, Boots loves to dance, John, and which is quite maybe a little
almost
more
makes
rare.
it creepy,
right? He's just alone on the boat with his monkey dancing in the ocean. No wonder he's not finding any gold. He's too busy pirouetting, which is okay. It's good to have dreams. It's good to, again, this is a free man, comfortable with himself and his tap dancing and his abilities. And I think, there's going to be dance fights probably in this thing. I'm hoping there are going to be dance fights tonight, John.
we can make that happen.
We can. We have the power. But loves to dance, loves to drink, loves to party, and has Buckles by his side. And, and this whole thing could kind of open up with them kind of doing the old dancing monkey routine, but it's a dancing Boots routine, like we talked about in the Fast Five, trying to get some cash, some coin.
Does he wear eyeliner? I feel like when you said Jack Sparrow, I thought of eyeliner, and then
Absolutely.
I thought probably every pirate wore eyeliner, and I don't know why or if that's true.
Let's say yes to keep the sun out of their eyes, like eye black.
Perfect.
They're outside. There are no sunglasses. If you're lucky to have both your eyes, protect them with eyeliner. That's the pirate motto.
Smearing monkey poop on his eye sockets.
And by eyeliner in quotes, very broad. It could be made of dirt, monkey poop, some random quill you found somewhere that maybe has ink on it. Maybe it's someone's blood. We don't know. We don't care. No one's gonna live past 28.
Yeah, he looks the part, but he dances well and
real well.
So
and that's a way to make a couple bucks too, as he's trying to do with the monkey with Buckles.
You pirate on land and a pirate at sea. He's
right.
Truly in the life.
A pirate of the stage and a pirate of the seas. And the stage could be at the top of a bar.
All dancers are just pirates.
Right. He's equal parts Magic Mike and Coyote Ugly and Jack Sparrow.
I forgot about Coyote Ugly for a minute. Now it's back.
Now it's back, and it'll be there for a month. Sorry to forget.
So he's got an assistant, he's got a partner, he's got Buckles, you mentioned.
Yes.
Is Buckles just like your standard thieving monkey add-on prop, or is there more to him than these tiny little pirate boots I'm imagining would suggest?
He absolutely has tiny little boots on, tiny little pirate boots. Which really probably hinder his monkey ability, but we're not going to talk about any of that.
Pirate boots.
It doesn't.
Really good.
Right. They're flexible, as flexible as they need to be, so we can still do monkey stuff. But no, he maybe is the most clever monkey ever. And again, we're not going to go back into the backstory too much.
Just know that he's clever.
Yeah, he's clever, extremely loyal. He also I'm also kind of imagining him doing a lot of the directing. It's kind of Boots is 90% of the time happy to be inside somewhere drinking something, and Buckles has to kind of is a bit like the treasurer of the crew of like, we have three, squeaking and monkey talk of like, we got 2 coins left. He's not speaking English. He's just kind of with the 2 coins, and Boots is like, all right, we got to dance, I guess, outside and get some more coins. Thanks for reminding me, Buckles. I wish I could take a nap, but.
And while Boots is dancing, then Buckles is doing his work.
Right, exactly right. And they're probably making a fair amount of money of people, throwing coins at Boots' feet as he, does some waltzing and some flips and things. But also, every time someone pulls out their little coin purse, Buckles is zeroing in on what pocket they put it back in to maybe sneak in and
take the
grab
rest.
a few more, hide up in the tree, and kind of laughing his adorable little monkey laugh as they make 3 times as much money as anyone watching the dance thinks they did just from grabbing cash out of their pockets, coins out of their pockets.
I'm seeing Buckles in like an Indiana Jones-esque
Yes.
where like he reaches in to grab the coin purse and swaps in an equal amount of weight of his own poop that he just made. And it's a quick little, so they don't even notice.
Oh, so something smells funny after that dance. I wonder what it was.
So we know we're pirates, and we know that every pirate had an enemy, which in this world is just the big British Navy.
For sure.
So in this world, how does this British Navy go from kind of annoyed by pirates to death to all pirates?
Right. I think, like many things, it's, death by 1,000 paper cuts. The straw that broke the camel's back. We take your idiom, whatever you want. There have been so many pirate attacks and pillaging and stealing from the crown and yada yada that the queen is like, we got to do something about it. We got to really crack down on this. And word is spreading through the Caribbean where we are right now on
Pause.
some unknown island. Yes.
Caribbean or Caribbean?
I said Caribbean because we're talking in pirates time. I'd say Caribbean right now, but it's Caribbean, John.
I really don't know. I really don't know.
Either. I never know with these things. I'm the worst at this. Don't ask me about how to say Nevada or Oregon or or Caribbean. I don't know what I think. I have no idea.
So we're gonna say for pirate time, it's Caribbean.
Sure.
Okay, got it. I'm gonna try and remember
Yeah,
that.
and I won't, but we'll see what happens. I think both are acceptable. But yeah, so word is spreading that the crown's getting serious for real this time, guys. And maybe, actually that's a good point. That could perhaps in this kind of, in the mermaid's head, or whatever the name of this bar is that they're in this unnamed pirate town. A lot of pirates are there, more than normal. They're perhaps gathering to talk a bit, share stories, share rumors they've heard, and they're all kind of sharing the same ones of someone's coming from England who has quite the reputation for making pirates' lives miserable, and apparently this admiral is gonna bring with him the might of the crown, and maybe this is the end of pirates as they know it, and they're kind of laughing it off. Ha ha ha. The pry my sword from me cold dead fingers.
I like the pirate talk.
We'll see if it gets better or worse, or if it gets worse, maybe it's getting better throughout the night. But yeah, they're scared. Boots is worried. All the pirates are worried. Buckles is worried that maybe this is it. Even if they're laughing it off as they drink their rum, maybe this is the end.
Who are they sending? We need like a Boots and Buckles are well known. They're we'll say they're sort of like the Blackbeard of this universe.
Sure.
But so there's got to be they got to have a name. This admiral from the British Navy.
You're the name guy, John. I feel like I should let you. This is your wheelhouse to figure out who they are and to give us something great.
It needs to be a name that instills fear immediately. Not that his parents designed him that way, but that's just the way movies work.
The universe designed him this way. It's destiny.
Admiral.
Yep.
Gentry.
Okay.
Thatch crotch. You know why he's mean. He's been picked on his whole life.
That's right, because his parents. It used to be that if your last name was like Smith, you were a blacksmith, and Weaver, you were the town sewer or whatever.
His parents were the crotch thatchers.
His parents were the crotch thatchers. If you ripped a hole in your pants right in the crotch, you went right to Gentry Senior, and he stitched you up. Sometimes with you still in the pants. So he had a lot of crotches in his face, and he had to grow up. Gentry did in this house, being made fun of by all the kids in the town. That his dad was old crotch-faced Gentry Senior.
Hey, Gentry, my dad shit a hole in his pants. Take him home from school with you.
You have to do it, Gentry. You have to bring his shit pants home. Gentry, you're embarrassing the family. Gentry, now, grab his shit pants. Yes, father.
I'll have your mom thatch him up while I prepare us dinner.
That's right. Woo!
Hates pirates.
Hates pirates.
Hates everything.
Hates anyone that wears pants and have a rip in it. So his pants are triple sewn, triple stitched, just because of the PTSD. But you grow up in a house like that, in a world like that, getting made fun of. The world maybe he's made a bit into a monster, a bit of a driven man. Also, kind of maybe like a neat freak. And if we can zoom out a minute, if being a pirate is all about being fun and free and no rules and chaos, well, what's going to be the force the universe sends to stop that? It's probably someone who's very kind of by the book and neat and tidy. And sometimes those people are made by having to sew shit-covered pants together as a child and never wanting to be near a dirty thing, an uncouth thing ever again. And so I think that's who Admiral.
Love this for his backstory.
It was no doubt he was going to be a real hard ass.
Why are you even bothering to learn to read? You're just going to be sewing up shitholes your whole life.
Once a shithole sewer. How was a shithole sewer? It's thatch crotch. It's not shithole sewer. Yeah, gentry, whatever. So he had a rough go of it. Relatable. I don't think any of this will be in the movie. Maybe a little bit will of him crying, holding poop-covered pants with a hole in it, and his dad yelling at him. That's a fun image. But yeah, so this is the guy who the crown is sending to shut it all down. And I think he can be, the Thatch Crotch. He's the butcher of Barnacle Bay. And,
nice.
So he's got a bit of his own legend behind him. And that's the name that's being whispered louder and louder around the mermaid's head as all these pirates are, again, trying to act like they're not freaking out, but maybe they are, and Boots and Buckles can tell that it's they never heard of Thatch Crotch before tonight.
Half are making jokes about his name, half are like, no, this dude's legit. He's
exactly right.
He's killed a lot of pirates.
Yes, killed a lot of pirates.
Pretty driven by it.
Now he makes pirates poop their own pants, and nobody sews them up.
Just wear them off the plank. To die drowning in your own poop pants.
Never sew a pant again on a man dead or alive. Yeah.
And for the sake of the movie, Boots and Buckles are enemy number one. Even though Boots might like Boots been around, a lot of pirates been around, but Boots and Buckles, they're getting talked about, and that makes me want to ask, like, what's the backstory on Boots and Buckles? Like, give me a little bit of their legendary chaos.
Yeah, and it could be kind of maybe. This could be a fun thing to happen in the bar scene, a kind of flashback montage as, as maybe the overhearing pirates talking about like, well, as soon as the last Royal Tea shipment blew up, he started coming towards us after that. And really, I think it was, and then the flashback happens. And you see that Boots and Buckles were the one that blew up the Royal Tea shipment, and they're sweating a little bit. And then someone else says, "Well, I thought it was the heist at Buckingham Palace. They think one of us pirates did that. Absurd.
It's a monkey heist."
Right. And another flashback, and you see Boots and Buckles like stealing the crown jewels or whatever, some staff from Buckingham Palace.
One of the many royal things that would keep a family of 800 fed and clothed for years.
Just sitting somewhere collecting dust. So these series of flashbacks happen of Boots and Buckles stealing all these things that all the pirates think created this new interest in the crown to shut it all down. So Boots and Buckles have every reason to believe that they are enemy number one. And it could even be as simple as like someone walks into the mermaid's head and throws like a wanted sign up on the wall, and it's Boots and Buckles, wanted for Buckingham Palace heist, tea shipment explosion, like, eating the queen's horses or whatever. Like, you ate the horses?
The monkey ate. Well, I did. They're not bad.
That makes a fine meal.
And the wanted poster, is that a caricature of Boots and Buckles together? Right. Like each of them are wanted?
Yes, exactly right. Oh my gosh. And the artist has mixed some of their features together. Like Boots has a huge furry face, which is what the capuchin monkey looks like. The monkey has Boots' hat on. So got some funny lost in translation stuff happening with the character drawer, but
because Boots and Buckles know not to make camp in England throughout their maybe they're from there, who knows, but they don't. That's good. They don't frequent England as an active pirate.
Oh my God, no.
Unless it's to go to the Buckingham Palace and do a heist.
And I think that maybe having the wanted posters thrown up in the mermaid's head as these pirates are piecing together why Thatch Crotch is on the way to ruin their lives, they turn and see, oh, Boots and Buckles did all this stuff. That's why Thatch Crotch is here. They got too greedy. You broke the pirate code. You took too much. You aimed too high. Steal from the middle. You can't steal from the top. You got to steal from people who can't quite catch up with you. Not the British Navy, not the Crown. Boots, Buckles, you're out of here. They get kicked out of the Mermaid's Head. But they're lucky that's all that happens this night. So
Probably threatened. For sure.
I mean, kicked out as knives and hooks and peg legs fly at the door as they action roll out of there.
Also a weapon,
Right, give me my leg back. I need that. Help me. Help me up. Oh, man. And yeah, so it's just them. No pirate help. The Navy's coming to ruin their lives. And they've got to figure out what the heck to do.
And so at some point in this movie, Boots and Buckles are going to get kind of handed their quest, like a world-changing destiny, passed out how to dream, a random fortune teller. Like, how do they find their next goal, mission?
Yeah. And maybe that's it. They're they're drinking. They're sad now, so they're sad drinking. So they're drinking faster, stumbling around this pirate town. Hide in the shadows a bit though, because they don't have many friends right now, and whether it's the booze or something in the air or whatever, they could have some kind of Boots, some hallucination or something, some mystic, someone walks out of the shadows, a hooded figure. We do a lot of that here. A lot of mystical people. Maybe it's an interdimensional nun, but we won't say that or know that. That gives him a message, and I don't even know if it needs to be that specific. It can be literally him as he's about to pass out on the ground, seeing this figure maybe that's real walking towards him. Let him know, like, it'll all change. Boots, wake up. Like, you must. There's no time. You have to change the world, or the world's coming for you. You can't run from it anymore. And he fades to darkness. But wakes up with a horrible headache, throws up, and then kind of remembers this mystic, as well as the fact that the Royal Navy's coming to ruin their lives, and all the pirates hate him. But something like that'd be good to have at this point, so we know.
I like the idea of a sexy nun doing it,
right? But it can hit in. But if you're a Beer Me That Movie fan, you're like, that voice, the nun, the whatever, the habit or whatever, hidden under the shadow. I know who that is.
Yep. Veiled a little bit, but for those of you that are loyal, immediately that it's a sexy nun in some form.
Yes.
Letting Boots and Buckles know.
Yes. That Buckles is also passing out
they've
from all the booze.
Buckles discovered whiskey, and it did set him off. And so I assume we're leaving the pirate town, and we're taken to the seas where pirates have +1 ability scores.
Yes.
So how do we go from this sort of like tavern engagements and sexy nuns to this sort of full-on rebellion? Like, what's the event that makes Boots say it's time for me to be the man I've always meant to be? Arr.
Yeah. Arr. That's good. And I think it could be, something. I'm kind of imagining a scene where it's the next day, and maybe all the pirates have kind of decided amongst themselves, like, well, let's not make it easy for the Navy and all sit here with our boats in a row in the harbor. If they're really coming for us, like, cheers, we'll see you. Hopefully we'll see you back here in a couple months at the Mermaid Head and all this is blown over. But we all got to get the heck out of here, get in our ships, get in our boats, and leave. And I think Boots is doing that too. All the pirates kind of going their own ways. And maybe they're out to sea a little bit and hear something they never heard before, whether it's, bigger, something that sounds like a larger cannon, something that sounds like a monster ripping through the waves. And off in the distance, maybe Boots and Buckles sees like something explode, a ship explode, and they throw their sight glass or spyglass that direction, and they see something almost unbelievable, something that's really going to change this whole story. A ship, John, a ship the likes of which has never been seen before, thought impossible, not made of wood, but seemingly covered in some kind of armor.
It's a ship of armor. Oh, no, that's not how a pirate would talk.
That works. And
Buckles exclaims,
right. Oh God! And Boots turns and sees this giant ship,
floating metal ship.
Yes, exactly.
The likes that Davy Jones would have never imagined.
He would have sunk himself. How is it on the water? It doesn't make sense. And we call this ship something badass like the Iron Lady, and I'm imagining this is Admiral Thatchcrotch's ship, and also a big reason why maybe the Crown thinks they can shut down pirates. They believe they've built a ship that is unsinkable. It's covered in armor. How it's also floating, don't worry about it. It is. And Boots and Buckles see from the distance it mowing through a couple other ships. They're trying to tack away from it. It's huge and heavy and also somehow fast. Again, don't worry about the physics. And it catches up with them as they're already out to sea. And I think like the Iron Lady makes quick work of Boots and Buckles' ship as
It's
well.
a hard one to apostrophize. Boots and Buckles ship. So
Sure.
Boots and Buckles ship gets obliterated by flying lead from a ship made of metal, and they're kind of scattered out into the ocean.
Yeah.
Just Boots and Buckles. Here's a novel idea: hang on to one of the doors together. And
Both of them.
exactly.
Plenty of room.
Buckles on the door, Boots hang on to the side of it, floating in the cold water.
Idiots.
And realizing like they're doomed. There's no way that they would be able to survive this Iron Lady.
Yep.
And that's kind of their call to arms. And you talked about it a little bit, but just help me understand like how fierce this Iron Lady, that I know she is a ship.
Yes.
How fierce this ship is, and kind of like what is going through Boots and Buckles' mind as they're jack floating on this door in the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, I think like all their fears just came true quicker than they thought. They watched 2 or 3 other pirate ships get destroyed. Their ship got destroyed. They're watching the end. They think they're watching the end of piracy and yo ho ho and a bottle of rum and the life of freedom on the high seas literally get destroyed in like an afternoon almost. By the Iron Lady, and it's huge. It's covered in cannons. It's covered in this armor. They probably shoot a couple cannonballs at it, bounces off these kind of shields on the side, plop into the ocean, and then their ship is destroyed. So yeah, they've got the perfect weapon, a Death Star of the sea, if you will, John.
Sea Star.
A Sea Star. The Iron Lady, the Sea Star. As Thatchcrotch sits up there with his perfectly clean, perfectly stitched pants.
'Twas but a Tuesday.
Exactly right. Sipping tea, and almost no one on the. And I'm imagining on the Iron Lady, all these snooty, redcoats up there with their powdered wigs, barely breaking a sweat. They're just mowing everybody down, having tea and biscuits, and thinking they're gonna make quick work of all these pirates. And so far, they're right. Not only do they lose their ship and watch other pirates lose theirs, but they feel like, no, there's no way to beat this thing. Like even if I survive this, I'll be dead. Next time I see this boat coming out of the clouds, coming over the horizon, it's over for us. And I think as they're floating on this door, waiting to just get eaten by sharks and die. Like this is the end. For them and for pirates, and it's a dire moment, John, for both Boots and Buckles.
And I think in Boots' mind, probably already in Buckles' mind, but it took Boots a while.
Sure, yes.
He realizes that he wouldn't be the pirate that he is without the help of Buckles.
Yes, sure.
And after seeing what he's seen, he knows that there's no chance that one pirate can stand up to the Iron Lady.
Exactly.
So he kind of has this realization that's shown to you in the movie, so we won't bother explaining it right now. But he needs to kind of unite these pirate factions if they're going to stand a chance, and that is going to bring us to Act 2. Arr.
Arr.
Things are heating up. Welcome to Act 2.
So Act 2 picks up, and Boots and Buckles have successfully floated past the sharks. They're now stranded on a little piratey island.
Yep.
And
Classic.
when exactly does this unite the pirates' moments strike them.
Yeah. I think, a few days there, they've eaten most of the coconuts. They've, as we've talked about in other episodes, they've identified what side of the island you poop on, what side of the island you hunt for fish on. So that's taken
The poop
care
cove.
of. But it's stay away from the poop
Don't
cove.
fish in the poop cove.
Is this the poop cove or the fish cove? Are those poops I'm hitting your fish with my spear? God, I'm hungry.
If I ate it once, it's good enough to eat again.
But that's it. You can't do it more than twice. That's where the real problem's
That's where scurvy comes from.
Scurvy comes from. Oh, that's
If
right.
I eat Buckles' poop and he eats my poop, we can do it three
We
times.
can live like twice as long. We figured it out. So they're having thoughts like that. Horrible, science baseless thoughts. Science. No such thing. Magic. Or something akin to that. And yeah, they're hungry. They're losing weight. They don't have a bunch of rum to hang out with. A couple coconuts. And I could imagine, just like you said, though, I think that sets in as Boots is recounting what he saw. Pirates not united, but running their own separate ways. And all they did was get a bunch of them killed and their ships destroyed. That's not the way to beat a ship like this. It's going to, if we have any shot at all, it's going to be working together. And it could be another like hunger-filled hallucination almost as, Boots and Buckles are laying there, both of them. Buckles, kind of making sad monkey noises, hungry monkey noises. And Boots being like, I know what you mean. They could have a fun like Han Solo and Chewbacca relationship where Buckles makes a monkey noise and Boots
Understands it.
No, it's Wednesday. Or is it Tuesday?
Been here so long, I'm out of poop. So things are looking pretty stark, pretty bleak, as you would expect in an Act 2. This seems like a great time for a sort of movie sign from above sort of thing.
Yes.
What do you got, Harrison?
All right.
We already used Sexy Nun.
Right. Sexy Nun's already been there, so she can't show up again. Who else could show up? So how about something like this where... So they're laying there on the beach, Boots and Buckles, hallucinating, singing some monkey pirate song together, half awake, half asleep. One coconut left between the two of them, kind of holding on to it to enjoy as maybe their final sip and meal before they just float into the ocean. And they're assuming they're dead. And on the horizon, not a huge pirate ship or a British ship, but a little paddle boat emerges, which is kind of ridiculous because I think they're like in the middle of the ocean. Who's got a paddle boat? And so again,
A lost fisherman.
sure,
Yeah.
right? Is this a hallucination? Is this
Yeah, good
real?
point.
Is this someone coming from a bigger boat to save them, to finish them off? All kinds of half thoughts are kind of bumping around Boots and Buckles' head, and the person gets closer and kind of gets out of the boat and goes up to them and starts talking to them. It seems real, and I think all this person says is like, do you have any water? And Boots, maybe surprising himself, was like, what? Yeah, you look like you're in better shape than us. What? You could use this thing. Take our last coconut. And I could see Buckles being like, like freaking out about it.
Little Buckles freak out. Really hungry. Fast metabolism.
What is Boots? Boots is doing another dumb thing, giving our food away to this hallucination / maybe stranger, or definitely stranger, maybe hallucination. But Boots does it. It's an act of kindness. And maybe, again, mystically, magically, whatever, Boots feels a little bit better too. Kind of sits up, inquires, what are you doing out here? How'd you get this boat? Like, are you from a bigger boat? Can you save us? Nope, it's just me. Not quite sure how I got here. He's a nice guy, this stranger, nice enough. Happy to have the coconut. And they get to talking about whatever. And Boots is, again, half out of his mind. But they have a good convo with this mystery man talking about, and maybe this mystery guy also loves dancing. We haven't taled about dancing.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Let's bring dancing
Boots is
in.
a dancer.
Right.
And pirate.
And
Dance
pirate. Dance pirate. And maybe they talk about that. Maybe even the stranger brings it up. They talk about dancing and all over the world, and Boots remarks, I hear the most beautiful and talented dancers in the world come from Lagerstani. One day, Buckles and I, we're going to get there. We're going to see it ourselves. And
nice.
the stranger smiles. Yeah.
Is it like the kind of smile that you get from a ninja before he cuts your head off? Or more, is it like a warm grandma smile?
Yes, it's a warmer kind of, right. There's a pie on the windowsill cooling down for after dinner grandma smile. Yes, one of those, not the ninja almost death smile, I hope. And so Boots and Buckles go back to kind of laying on the ground, writhing in pain and hunger. This guy jumps back in his boat, and before he looks like he's going to push off and sail away, I imagine him saying something like, Boots being like, who are you? Like, what's your name, stranger? If you're going to be the last human I ever see. It doesn't mean much to die next to a monkey, but what's your name? And Buckles also gets mad at him for that, pulls his hair, but this guy goes, you can call me Van, and I thank you for your kindness, and one day I will repay it tenfold.
Nice guy, Van.
Exactly right. Van seems like the man. Van the man. But Boots laughs that off. One day, how about, could today be that day? I'm dying on the beach here.
I only have
what
this
a cool IOU, asshole. Right?
Yeah, I often go to the convalescent home and repay people in IOUs.
I'll pay you back.
Sign your mortgage over to me.
I'll pay you back. What a nice boy. There's a nice racket there. If you have no heart. So, and again, maybe why aren't they getting in the boat? Well, maybe they laugh about that too. Of maybe Boots and Buckles thinks this guy's insane. All right, Van, we'll see you when your skeleton floats back here in 3 weeks. Good luck, just you on a boat paddling in the ocean. And again, as Boots and Buckles are kind of laying down, writhing around, they look back up, and Van is gone, but the paddle boat is still sitting there. And Boots gets up, Buckles gets up, they go investigate, looking around, and maybe scrawled in the seat on the boat or just written on a note in the boat can be a message from Van that says something like, oh boy, paddle west for one day and you will find what you seek the most.
Cryptic son of a bitch.
Exactly
Never mind. Van is not the man.
Van is not the man. Van has lost his mind long before he found us.
But Boots has a boat back, which is progress.
Right.
And this Van guy is probably going to be important, isn't he?
Right. Yeah. And maybe there are 5 coconuts in the boat, and they're like, how the hell did this get here? What's this guy stealing our coconuts? He's a coconut thief. Get taken out by a rogue wave. He deserves it. He deserves it. But it will take his boat and his coconuts, and
I am a pirate.
I am a pirate.
This counts.
Right,
this counts.
We're back in the green. Buckles, we're out of the black. We've got 5 coconuts to our name and a boat. See the pirate life. Things just fall into your lap sometimes, and so they debate maybe briefly about what do we stay here? Well, there are no more coconuts. All right, these coconuts may get us a day or two. Die on the beach, or maybe something happens if we paddle west. Who knows? Back to the sea we go. I'm a pirate. I'm not going to die on the land. I'll die in the sea.
Totally. And I think Buckles is really Buckles is very on that note.
You're right. Look, that's good.
Thank you. It is monkey. Whatever.
Yes.
So let's movie magic forward a little bit. Our fair pirate heroes have paddled west and actually find who's going to become their first pirate recruit for the gang that they're building.
Okay.
Please, Harrison, explain to me, why does he smell like old moldy shrimp?
This is good. Oh my gosh. So they paddle west again, just on a whim and a hope and a prayer, and bump into, and they first smell the smell of moldy shrimp, and they see way too many seagulls circling above them. And maybe at first they're like, land, we found land. There's no way this many seagulls would be around anything but land. Unless, and then they turn and they see, oh crap. And they say, oh crap, because indeed they found a boat, but it's Jimmy the Rot Escargot's boat. And I'm going to take this name because this is too good.
Rot.
Jimmy the Rot Escargot, who is a garbage pirate. A French garbage pirate.
You scurvy dogs who land on my boat.
Exactly. And Jimmy's on the front of this horrible smelling, decaying boat that runs on garbage, is full of garbage, just swatting away seagulls, trapping one or two for dinner. They're gonna eat a lot of seagulls on this boat.
Great.
Which is amazing.
Buckles is thrilled.
Buckles is thrilled. Boots is happy. And Jimmy the Rot doesn't care because he's Jimmy the Rot. But he saves them, and maybe they, trade the paddle boat for passage or whatever to get where they need to go. But I think kind of quickly in the conversation, we need to go into how it breaks down exactly now, but between Boots and Buckles and Jimmy to kind of get on the same page of like Jimmy's running from the Iron Lady.
Jimmy knows about the Iron Lady.
Exactly right. It's spread immediately somehow. Even though all these pirates
Seagulls,
are on different boats.
pirate network.
The pirate network.
They don't use pigeons, they use seagulls.
Right. Trained seagulls or parrots or dolphins, whatever. And yeah, so Jimmy knows about it, and Boots pitches him the idea that he kind of came to him on the island with the hallucinations and Van the Man of what if we all got together, Jimmy? Yeah. Oh, you got it with you. I can't. Yeah.
You got to start with the laugh.
Yeah, but about the head, sure.
Mais pardonnez-moi, partner with the Boots and Buckles with a monkey. No, the partner with the Sange.
The perfect Jimmy the Rot, John.
I didn't know French piracy was my bag.
Nailed it. This is great to do this a couple times. And so it's a hard sell on Jimmy to start. Boots is gonna be the one to unite all the pirates, but again, these are pirates we're talking about. They're kind of just living one wave at a time. If you have an adventure for a pirate that maybe ends in booze, women, gold, they're
getting killed by the Iron Lady.
Exactly right. Living another day. They're probably actually a soft yes all the time. And so despite the smell, they plug their noses, and now they have Jimmy kind of on their side, Jimmy's boat. And the soft plan is like, let's find the pirates. Let's go to all the shanty towns. Let's get a posse together, a pirate posse. And let's see if we can make this dream happen. Unite the pirates against the Iron Lady. Otherwise, if we don't, we're all out of a job. There are no more pirates. We'll be wiped out, in a week, which is a pretty powerful message, I think.
Regular week for a pirate, but
right.
But with the Iron Lady there, we can unite.
Exactly.
So he's got Jimmy the Rot.
Jimmy the Rot.
Escargot is his lieutenant as they build this sort of pirate navy, pirate resistance.
Yes.
Now, we'll turn give me like I need like a sort of montage of pirate factions, diplomacy via jazz hands.
Right. Yes. That's good, John. And I think the ace in the hole, as I can see this, as they pull up to the kind of pirate shanty town number 1, and they go into not the mermaid's head, but the dolphin tail, and they see a room full of pirates, a bar full of pirates. Caribbean pirates.
Caribbean.
Right.
I can't remember. Damn it. I know. Right. I think you're right.
It's Caribbean. It's Caribbean. But maybe they have some emo Nordic sea poets and some Italian eco-friendly reef pirates and
the pasta piracy.
Fafala. What?
They just chant their sea shanties are pasta names. Rigatoni pesto, meatball.
Yeah, so they're all in there singing their weird sea shanties, songs, having fun drinking, but all turn, see Boots, Buckles, they smell Jimmy, and they're like, Boots, you're the reason we're in this mess. He pitches them, come on, like, we gotta get together. They're all kind of resistant. And I think this is when Boots' superpower, his ability to dance, John, comes right into play.
Dancing is a superpower?
Exactly right. And he just, as they're yelling at him and preparing to throw their boots and their peg legs and their knives and hooks at him, he just breaks out into a beautiful dance that immediately calms the crowd. The energy in the whole room changes as he does like maybe it's like Madame Butterfly. I don't know how old that is. Something old and elegant.
An old I guess I could see that like these pirates have rum, brothels,
Yes, sure.
and gold.
Right.
So dancing is kind of like their TikTok.
Exactly. Yes, they can't doom scroll dopamine themselves to death every night. Anything that's slightly different or entertaining in the slightest, from like a leaf blowing in the breeze, a sunset, that's what they're hoping for every day. To see a man dancing in front of them, it kind of blows their mind. And maybe immediately establishes Boots as the dominant alpha pirate. His ability to do a bunch of spins.
Previously, the most entertaining thing was one guy's story about how he saw a squid fucking octopus.
I swear it wasn't two octopuses. It was a squid and an octopus. Never before. What kind of abomination will they make? We'll never know. I killed them both and ate them. What?
Yeah, it was an easy target. Yeah.
They're very busy and delicious.
So dancing, the form of entertainment, becomes enough of a seduction for Boots and Buckles
Yes.
to collect sort of a pirate navy.
Yes, it's happening, right? It's working. The dancing's getting people together. They're aligning behind Boots and Buckles in the dancing. And they're, so now they've got 4 ships instead of just the one smelly Jimmy ship. And that turns into 6 and 10. And they go from island to island, town to town, funny named bar to funny named bar. And now they've got like a pirate army kind of at their back. And it's happening. And I would imagine as word is spreading about Boots and Buckles and the pirate army and the pirate dancers or whatever, this is also going to get back to Thatchcrotch, who thinks he's won and destroyed most of the pirates that are well known, but now is hearing about this ragtag group of privateers that. And he's not too happy about it.
Or at least he thinks he's invincible. Like he showed up and decimated some of the every pirate had a name, but some of them were just like getting started maybe.
Right.
But his ship is proven worthy. So let's talk a little bit more about the bad guy, this Admiral Thatchcrotch.
Yes.
Such a powerful villain besides his damning allergic reaction to citrus.
Right.
But give me a little bit more story on Thatchcrotch.
Yeah, I mean, we painted a wonderful picture of his childhood and talked a bit about he's a type A kind of organization freak, but he's pompous. Thinks of himself as precise. And really, again, he's that opposing force to the wild, free, gay nature of piracy. He wants to civilize it all and button it down. And manage the heck out of it. And yeah, that's not what pirates are all about. So this guy is just the ultimate wet blanket who's trying to put an end to this pirate party that's happening. And yeah, but the pompousness may come back to get him. I would even say that, so his name is Admiral, you said Gentry Thatchcrotch.
Gentry Thatchcroft.
That's where gentrification comes from, John. Good old Gentry.
That's so his namesake grew from Thatchcrotch to gentrification.
That's right. That's what he's trying to do to the whole Caribbean. Is wash out all the culture and the stuff that makes it amazing.
And like so many well-known pirates, I'm imagining he does have one eye, but instead of a patch, he's replaced it with beautiful
patch,
porcelain.
Yes, that's good. Okay, I like that too. Wouldn't have a patch. That's not clean enough. But a porcelain eye, a squeaky porcelain eye.
It looks like a doll's eye,
right?
And he didn't get stabbed like
don't
most
look at his
pirates.
eye.
That was an accident from the thatch needle.
Right, that's right. Yep, someone just
get your head out of the crotch, Gentry.
Look out! He's about to blow one. He's about to shit in pins again. Move the needle, boy. Right, a thatch crotch injury that many thatch crotches have, which is part of being a thatch crotch. Sometimes you get a needle in the eye. Lucky it was just a needle. Could have been a lot worse down there, sewing a man's pants on while he's still wearing them. But yeah, so again, Gentry's got a horrible childhood, trying to make up for it, got a goofy, squeaky eye, pompous, type A dude who's trying to bring law and order to the Caribbean, and maybe even like maybe the crown to make him kind of, because it's fun to have a bad guy. It's also fun to have like a bad guy that also has an even eviler sub bad guy goal beyond just like wiping all the pirates out. Maybe his goal is to like not tell the crown about this, but be like, we can threaten all these pirates and kind of capture them, and I can fold them into my crew. They go pirate still for me. Like they go out and they pillage and they steal stuff. We send some to the crown, but this will be mine. He's kind of getting a little high on the horse, high on his own supply, and wants to be the king of the Caribbean.
So this sounds like gentrified piracy.
Yes. Exactly.
And like
take it for his own.
This is a good like a bad guy goal that we, the viewer, get, or listener, or whatever. Get a little insight into that'll help us kick off Act 3. Like, tell me more about this gentrified piracy plot. Is this going to be like we take 10% of all your gold, or you have to give everything to us?
100%.
Never going to fix your shitholes.
Exactly right. Enjoy almost dying for maybe nothing. Obviously a horrible deal for the pirates, but I imagine maybe his plan is we'll blow up all the pirates that are never going to bend a knee to me. They're all dead. Now the ones that are running around with boots and buckles, the lesser known ones, like you said, I can capture them and basically put a gun to their head and say, you walk the plank or you work for me. Again, but it's no more fun. It's uniforms, it's inspections, you're part of the Royal Navy now unofficially. You're part of my Navy.
You're gonna loot for me.
Right,
still.
Exactly. So this guy is just the worst, taking all the fun and the joy out of piracy and turning it into a business. Gentrified piracy. You're absolutely right, John. That's what he's doing. He's taking all the soul and the heart out of it and just putting townhouses there instead.
No rum.
No
rum is going to take us into the resolution of this film in Act 3 coming up next.
This is it, the final showdown, Act 3.
So Act 3 is going to begin with a final battle. We've got our pirate navy. We've got our sort of other navy that is also proven to be evil, led by Gentry Thatchcrotch.
Yes.
What does this sort of final battle scene look like in the opening?
Yeah, it's the showdown. So the pirates' navy is aligned as much as pirates can be, but again, their chaos and their spontaneity is a Gentry sees it, Thatchcrotch sees it as a weakness. It's going to become a strength. But maybe they get the jump. I think that's like the only way they can do this is on the Iron Lady and on Thatchcrotch as they're leaving whatever royal port in the Caribbean, out of the clouds in the storm or whatever come the pirate navy, and they're surprised. So it's going to be an awesome pirate battle with, people swinging on ropes with their swords and cannons.
Dance
fighting. People throwing coconuts at each other's heads. Lots of dance fighting. You're right. Lots more than
punch, kick, punch.
Synchronized dance fighting. A lot of that. Line dance fighting. Because that's also right. That could be a fun montage, and as the British Navy is loading up like cannons and muskets and stuff, the pirate Navy is going 1, 2, 3, 4 from the top. You're slow on the back beat.
Come on, Jimmy, keep up.
I know you have a peg leg, but you have 2 peg legs. Jimmy, sit this one out. You keep time over there with buckles. 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're learning how to dance and not stab themselves with their own swords while they fight, and they're doing a good job. That'll be a fun montage of learning how to sashay and then shoot someone with a musket, which again makes them elusive. It's almost like an early form of guerrilla warfare where the British Navy is going to stand there in a line and shoot at you. If you're doing the Charleston, moving left to right,
give them a moving target.
So there's a lot of all the pirates are dance fighting. British Navy's getting their mind blown by this, but that Crotch again is resolute. He's a d-bag. He's just standing there. Fire, return fire. They can do nothing to us. They can bring 100 ships. We're the Iron Lady. Huzzah, the Iron Lady, or whatever. But it's an amazing battle. People are dying on both sides, and maybe we could. Oh man, I don't know. Something crazy has to happen in this battle.
So I love the idea of like this long shot of this whole battle taking place. There's a long pan across a line of British musketeers, and you can see their musket barrels like up. Jiving left and right, trying to keep up with the dance. And then all of a sudden, one of them from behind throws a stick of dynamite onto Boots and Buckles' ship.
Yes.
And you see this big explosion. The dancing stops. The music that we just realized playing, it also stops. And you see Buckles' little tiny monkey body just in the explosion. And it looks like he goes overboard. Are we, Harrison, are we now in like tragic Pixar film Make Me Cry, or is this going to be a Fast and Furious sort of fake out?
I think this is a family is forever fake out, baby. Yeah. We're fast and furiousing this thing. But I think Boots thinks Buckles is dead, which makes him unleash a Zorro-like kind of with castanets, rage-fueled tap dancing rampage across the deck, taking out, dodging every musket ball and every sword, and he takes out 20 pirates. As he does this rage dance, which catches Thatch Crotch's attention, of course, from the other ship, the other deck, watching 20 of his men fly overboard in a whirling dervish type of
nice move
that comes from Boots after he watches his best friend get maybe blown up, or in Boots' mind, blown off the deck, and thinks he's gone forever, but
which sends him on the tap rampage.
Yes.
And this wouldn't probably happen in an official pirate Navy battle, but now is a great time that we get like a Boots-led rally speech.
Yes.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, Harrison.
Boy.
Become Boots. I know you're a method actor, so just really quickly reach into my pocket and steal something. Become Boots and give me what does this speech sound like?
Sure, probably a lot about freedom and monkey courage and the right to be a pirate, a free whatever. Maybe has a higher calling of we're not just thieves, we're not just pirates, we're dancers, we're artists with cannons. And tribute to Buckles. And he can gosh, all right, what's my pirate accent again? Hey, look at us scattered like a rum bottles after a storm, feuding, stealing, betraying, all for a few measly coins and a crumb of dry biscuit. But today, we change the tide. And can go on, we're just pirates. We're dreamers with daggers.
Yes.
Poets with pistols. We're men. And monkeys, some of us monkeys, a principal, just fires them up as this lull in the fighting happens, and kind of gets them to all pumped up, all jacked up, like the St. Crispin's Day speech in whatever it is, Henry the Fourth,
Henry the Crispin,
crispiest Henry. And yeah, they're all jacked up. They're all ready to now.
Now who's ready to punch the queen?
Right, there we go. To fight all the pirates again, as they think because they're losing. Then the speech happens. Now they're getting excited, and maybe kind of as that happens, as they say, "Who's ready to punch the queen?" We hear "Wait!" and Buckles jumps over the side of the boat, covered in, his hair all crispy from the dynamite explosion.
There's a monkey in blackface now.
They're covered in soot. Looks like Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins.
And you
as a
mentioned
monkey.
Buckles has one last trick.
Yes.
Of many. The Buckles' last trick is going to be called the flaming monkey maneuver.
Yes.
Who thought of this?
Yes.
How many international treaties is it going to violate?
It breaks maritime law. It breaks monkey law. But I think like Boots sees Buckles. The men are pumped, and as this is all kind of going on, as the battle was happening, Boots is also, he's dancing, he's fighting, he's also thinking. He's kind of looking at the Iron Lady, looking at all the weapons they have, looking at like people running up from beneath the Iron Lady with gunpowder and dynamite and all sorts of things. So he kind of plays a hunch here, and has a plan with Buckles, who he apologizes. If I know you're a little crispy, buddy, but you feel like getting a little more crispy. And I think what the flaming monkey is going to be is they hand Buckles a stick of dynamite, light it, then kind of put Buckles in a ball, put him in a cannon, and then they fire the cannon at the Iron Lady, but kind of over the Iron Lady. Because I think as they're fighting, they're able to fight some of the British Navy guys, but all the cannonballs are still hitting the Iron Lady and plunk it into the ocean. The Iron Lady is not affected at all by this battle so far. Cannonball proof. That was the whole point of the iron and the armor and stuff. But it's also full of explosive stuff, of dynamite and gunpowder and cannonballs and things in the hull, deep in the Iron Lady. So the plan with the flaming monkey is to shoot Buckles over the Iron Lady with that dynamite, and he throws it like in a hatch in the hull.
Yes, of course he does.
Yeah, perfect shot first time, just like Luke Skywalker on the Death Star, fires it right in that perfectly placed hole, and it bounces down, and it'd be a great shot of following the dynamite go down the hull as they're watching the British soldiers walking up the stairs holding boxes full of explosive things. And this dynamite lands as the fuse hits the dynamite right in a pile of gunpowder, and the Iron Lady explodes from the inside.
Before it explodes,
okay. What else?
Before this indestructible ship explodes, as the dynamite is falling down,
yes,
and we're learning that the good guys always find a way, even if they're questionably good pirates.
But great dancers.
Tell me what old Thatch Crotch is up to as he's seeing this monkey flying dynamite death contraption that they didn't plan for. They didn't build the iron
monkey.
roof. We should have built the iron roof. I asked for extra money.
Is that a flying monkey with dynamite? Oh, what in the crap-covered pants am I looking at? So I think Thatch Crotch, it could even happen as he drops it and it blows up and the ship's kind of like sinking now, and Thatch Crotch is bleeding there with his squeaky eye kind of overly squeaking, shocked at his own demise. His last words could be something like, he's going to say, I think exactly what it's going to be. He's going to say, "Launch the Iron Taint."
The Iron Taint?
Every Iron Lady has an iron taint, John. So I think...
Please tell me what what happens when the Iron Taint is launched.
Right, so I'm imagining that along with the Iron Lady, they made basically a primitive like torpedo, essentially, that they call the Iron Taint. It's a one-shot deal. It's a metal kind of dynamite-filled torpedo-looking thing, and they launch it. Someone, whether it's his eyeball rolls out and knocks a flaming stick over that launches the fuse for the Iron Taint or whatever. We can have fun with that ridiculous shot too, or how the Iron Taint gets launched. Doesn't matter, but it gets launched. So even though the Iron Lady's sinking and Thatch Crotch is going to be swimming with Davy Jones, he got one final shot in, and this Iron Taint is flying towards the heart of the pirate navy now, and they can't do anything. They're just watching this thing rip through the waves. They're full of dynamite. It's huge. It's the size of half a ship. It's really going to do some damage to them, but something happens, John. I think it'll, as they're watching it, ready to kind of kiss their butts goodbye, it explodes in the middle of the ship,
saying, "Better to die a pirate than a what?"
Right.
And so we said Van would be important.
Van the man.
And as you see the iron taint explode, the camera pans over and we see this beautiful crew of naval ships, and it's Van leading the charge of the Lagerstani Navy.
Yes.
Tell me about these people, Harrison. How much flair are we talking on
So
these
much
ships?
flair, so much Lagerstani. We're going to get to Lagerstani in a minute, but to give you some insight, I think these guys are going to be known as the Dirty Clam Crushers for their ruthless pillaging. And they have maximum flair, John. So they've got glitter-covered sails, flaming cutlasses. They've got a war chant that's mostly ballet. And it's Van leading the way. Now he has like a big fancy glittery crown on and a cape, and he's dressed in all white, which is risky all the time. But certainly when there's no running water and there's open sewers everywhere and you're a pirate, wearing all white is just asking to be, every time someone is near you, you're now covered in someone else's diarrhea and everyone can see it. But he does it anyway because he's just a
Lagerstani boy.
He's a flamboyant Lagerstani Navy man, a dirty clam crusher. But yes, Van's there with the whole power of the Lagerstani Navy to just finish this whole thing off. And again, keep true to his word that when that he said to Boots and Buckles on the beach that they would be there and to pay them tenfold for Boots's kindness and giving him that coconut earlier in the movie. And so I think, and so what's kind of happened now is the pirate navy is aligned with the Lagerstani Navy. And they're unstoppable. The Iron Lady is at the bottom of the Caribbean. Sure, whatever. And that's not enough though. Now's the time to hit him where it hurts.
So Lagerstani Navy, pirate navy, the unification continues over the love of dance.
Love of dance, that's right.
And England's greatest warship.
What a great world.
England's greatest warship is sunk. Admiral Thatchcrotch is sunk with it.
All his own pants covered in poop.
OCDs.
The last thing you see. It's him shit his own pants.
The pirates all garbage pirate. Jimmy the Rat
cargo, right.
dumps out a bunch of poop from his hull over the Iron Lady's taint. And the pirate Lagerstani Navy sails to England to lay siege and conquer England. So tell me, we'll fast forward a little bit as we get into kind of the epilogue of the movie. Pirates have conquered England. What does this do to Parliament now? Are we seeing like parrots and wigs?
100%. We've got a parrot Parliament, we'll call it. Buckingham Palace is now the Buckle Dome, and it's just a giant bar.
Bartended by Buckles.
Right. So that's kind of just become another pirate town. London has. It's just a crazy pirate village on an island far away from the Caribbean, and it never becomes what it is today. I think the whole world changed because of this battle and the pirates winning and being brave enough to cross the seas and take it to England, and they win. They overpower them. It's hilarious, and certainly. Builds a different world after that. And
so this would involve kind of sort of uniting the cultures of England and their pubs and their beer with the cultures of Lagerstan and the Beer Me That universe we know is the greatest nation ever. So tell me about Lagerstan as sort of like the new global capital. Exactly. What do they become known for?
They become the center of the world, John. They're known for what we all know them for. Cold beer, flamboyant dancers, world-class boxing teachers. Maybe a few interdimensional nuns get produced out of Lagerstan. If you've seen enough Beer Me That movie. But the center of the world in the Beer Me That movie universe is Lagerstan. And this is how it happens, all because of a brave monkey and his human assistant. Taking it to the man, kicking Thatchcrotch in the Thatchcrotch, sinking the Iron Lady and her taint, and letting freedom and chaos and dancing pirates reign, and the world's a better place for it.
At least Lagerstan certainly is. Now, that That pretty much does it for me. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, Harrison.
Yeah.
What's our final shot? What's kind of Buckle's legacy?
Right. It's some postscript or whatever. But history is written by the victors, and sometimes those victors like to dance while wearing tiny leather boots, or something like that. Exactly right. And yes, and it's Buckles. It's Buckles in Buckingham Palace, now the Buckle Dome, wearing the Queen's crown and jewels, pouring rum shots for thousands of pirates for the rest of his days.
Drinking them all.
Out drinking them all, yeah. And it's, again, this is a big old universe. We're not going to say it's the end of Buckles or Boots or anything. Really, it's kind of just beginning. But we'll have a nice final shot of some cheers, some grog, some rum, and a nice little Buckles monkey wink as he eyes a female monkey across the bar who's eyeing him. And, got to make more monkeys. His legacy is going to be making more Buckles.
True, we know pirates have parrots in our world, right. But in this world, the story of Boots and Buckles inspired many pirates to get a monkey.
Yes, exactly. It's
and
like
Buckle to get all those monkeys.
He's going to be a busy monkey for sure.
So make sure you tune in next week when we come back with another Fast Five, our 34th, where we're going to find 5 more beers and turn them into 5 more movie ideas. Until then,
yes. Peace.
Punch.
Give me your coconut.
I couldn't think of anything. I totally blanked. Grog.
There's a lot there. Give me
dance fight.
Give me your dance.
Iron
dancing
taint.
shoes.
Give me your iron taint.